So for this character, I almost immediately made her a brunette, but then I decided to make her a redhead, so I do end up going with that. I gave her like these matching orange eyes, which I thought looked really good, and freckles, and I really like how she turned out. All of her traits are very outdoorsy, very green thumb, and she's gonna fit in quite well with this treehouse, I think. So I did originally try to make it on stilts, but that didn't really work out. The stilts kept getting in the way. There were way too many of them spawning with all of the walls that I had originally built. So I wasn't really going to get that look that I really wanted of it to be an actual like tree house that you think of when somebody says tree house. So I ended up bulldozing the whole lot and starting over with something a little bit more simple. I'm kind of just doing all of the stuff that goes underneath first. My main idea was that I wanted to be able to go underneath, so I had to create it as a second story for it to work that way. So what I did is I just made one little square and then I put the stumps just over it and you can't see it anymore. So it is actually a second floor, so I didn't need a foundation, which was nice. Which got rid of all of the posts that were bothering me before with the previous build that I had to obviously start over. We kind of ended up with this like underneath courtyard type thing. When you look at the lot from afar, it looks pretty enormous, and it is. There's a lot of leaves going on, but it's really unavoidable with the options of trees that we have in the game, so, you know, it's whatever. I think it still ended up really cool looking. In the back here, I really wanted to keep with like that jungly kind of theme. So I wanted to have somewhat of a boardwalk in the back, and the best way I could do that was to create a platform foundation and to put a staircase on it. And then I left a little gap on the side. I actually put another one coming off the bottom as well. It was really, really hard to match these railings because there isn't actually a stair railing for the railings that I wanted to use, which really were the vibe I was going for, so I kind of just mixed them together, and they actually went together okay. So initially, I had planned for the front of this build to have a front door, but no matter what I did, it just didn't seem like it fit the house. And I kept thinking about what I could do with that front corner, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if I messed with the terrain a bit and maybe made it something underground? and that is when I came up for the idea of a pool. So this pool, I really wanted it to look more like a pond or like a swimming hole, something more organic and natural. So I took one of the waterfalls from the spa kit, the wall waterfalls, and I actually just covered it in rocks and shrubbery to hide the edges of it that make it look so modern, and I tried to make it a type of waterfall for the pool, and I think that it did work out pretty well, and I think that it could be replicated fairly easily. Right here, I had to try and figure out to cover that floor. You can't get rid of that floor, because if you get rid of the floor, the stairs disappear. And I didn't want to lose that illusion of, you know, the stairs holding up that top floor with the tree. You know, because it's a tree house, so the branches should be supporting some of this house. So I just used some rocks and covered it up quite well, I think. This corner, it was giving me a really hard time. I had to find ways to accommodate that really, really steep angle because of the edge of the lot there. But yeah, you know, we eventually get somewhere good with it, but I do fiddle with it quite a bit before then. Getting that house all set up at the top of that tree was so gratifying. I just was so excited to have gotten it to work. In the back, I really wanted this to be a spot where she could work on her floral kind of stuff, because I did give her the aspiration of being like a florist or whatever, so I did want it to be very pretty and landscaped, and I wanted there to be a lot of flowers, and just to have that feeling of, like, you know, waterfalls and caves and exotic plants. Now, I did have to improvise a little bit because, of course, the original build that I wanted wasn't going to work with those stilts, so, you know, we worked with what we could. The bathroom I made very simple. I just wanted it to be kind of a rustic bathroom to go with the whole treehouse vibes, and I think it turned out pretty well. I do use a lot of CC in this build because I just love CC, and you know that, like, even if I tried to make a no CC build, it, for whatever reason, because of Slice of Life, I don't know if it's Slice of Life or whatever mod I'm using, but it always marks it as CC anyway, so I figure, well, if it's gonna mark it as CC, it's gonna be just as hard to find regardless, so I'm just gonna use CC, and, yeah, I don't know what's happening with this pause here. Oh wait, there we go. We're back. No need to worry. But yeah, so here in the kitchen, I didn't want to cover up that branch that's coming through the house, so I just turned it into a half wall because I didn't want to affect the counters and that, like, little wall piece that comes up when there's a wall there, and it wasn't quite doing anything to change that issue when I had just the fence. So using the half wall fixed that issue of the counters not, like, really connecting and making that little wall piece. I really like how this kitchen turned out. It's one of the more interesting open kitchens that I've done. Up in the, like, little pockets and stuff, all of the drawers, I had to fill it because it just felt empty. I put a few little knickknacks and stuff up in there, some bowls and plates and, you know, cups, things like that. And they had this amazing matching table that came with the CC for the countertop, so I was like, wow, perfect, I'm going to use that. Had to level the ground a little bit because that stump was coming up through the kitchen a bit, and I didn't want it to affect the kitchen table. I was able to find some stools that matched relatively well. I do wish that the legs of it were white, but what can you do? You can't match everything exactly, but I sure do try. No, I was thinking like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do blue over here too, but I really wasn't finding anything that fit that very well, so I ended up changing my mind and looking for more modern options. I had to take care of my sim as I was building because I was making her test out everything in the house so that, you know, I didn't have sims drowning or whatever when you guys download my house and, you know, maybe I didn't build something right on the stairs and your sim ends up drowning in the pool or whatever, you know, so there's a little bit of that you guys are going to see throughout this speed build that kind of snuck in there, but this is 9 hours of footage in, what is it, like 20 minutes or so, so you guys can probably imagine how much I had to speed up a lot of these to even edit it. I did make the back here a little farm area where she has plants that she takes care of to up her gardening skills. And I think it would be a great house for anybody who wants to do this because it fits in with the ambiance of the entire build really well. I did have to move a few things in the front to make sure that she didn't drown, because she did drown. As I was having her test things out, she got stuck in the pool area and she drowned. And then later on, I was filming and she dies again, which you guys will also see. I did a little close-up there for you. I was literally shooting scenes and like making it look cinematic, and a fire broke out and she died. So there was a lot of hazards that I had to fix in the house to make it livable, but it is a fully functional house now. I added this little coat closet, kind of mudroom area. You guys were saying while I was building that I should have a pet, so I did put a little bit of things around the house that were like pet related, but I didn't really commit to getting a pet or anything yet. Maybe down the road we can actually play as this house. That would actually be really fun. I think I could definitely be into that. So if you guys are interested in me doing that, please let me know in the comments below. This is her bedroom. I figured the bedroom would be the best place for the upper floor. So I just really wanted it to be very woodsy and kind of with the theme of like the trees and everything. So I used that lamp with the branch and I kind of placed it in a way that it looked like parts of the tree were coming out and holding the lamps. And I really liked how that turned out. I also used a lot of CC on this bed to make it look more cozy. I can't help it. I love blankets. I love pillows. I can't live without that kind of CC, so I am sorry if you guys do not have that CC. I did realize that I had to put like clothes and stuff on the shelves and in the baskets because obviously I could not fit any kind of dresser in this room. It was just not going to happen. And I really liked the vibe of the bookshelf being there. It really worked with the room. Then I put the desk area downstairs as well and decorated it. The wall was bothering me, so I tried to maybe fix it with different rocks and sizing up different rocks, and that did work for the most part. As you guys can see, I did end up building a rock wall there, and I did like it for a while. Like, I thought that it was pretty cool, and I left it. Do believe that this is where my sim catches on fire. Yeah. There she is. She is dead. How she managed to burn herself to death in her house with sprinklers, I could not tell you. I really couldn't. I don't know how she managed to do this. But my game was over, so I had to exit back to main menu. Luckily, I had saved recently, so I just went right back. I bulldozed the lot, and then I put that same build on a bigger lot in the same Willow Creek world. And I was able to fix all of the things that were bothering me that the border was keeping me from. That corner there, I was able to stretch it out more. I was able to place everything a little bit nicer, and everything wasn't just like sticking out of the wall, which was really bothering me about the last lot. So it was a big relief to just be able to like move everything. Yeah, I did have to reconstruct the entire pond, but it was worth it because then I had a bigger pool and you could see it better from the picture in the gallery, and it was just so much better, like worlds better. So if you guys do download this house, I recommend a large lot, a 50 by 50 or a 50 by 40, something big. I actually have another build of this as well. It's a shell with a smaller version of the pond, so if you guys cannot fit it and you know that you don't want to put it on one of your 50 by 50s or whatever, you can actually just use the smaller one and put it on a smaller lot, and that should work just fine. Now, when I was saving this house, I actually could not see any of the floors because the pictures are literally just leaves. That is how many leaves are at the top of this build. It's just all tree branches. Like, the whole top of it is just tree branches. It looks like the house from Up, but with trees. So this is the final build. This is how it ended up. I am so in love with this house, and I would really, really like to do some gameplay in it, and also use this character, maybe get her a pet. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys want me to play in this house, please comment down below. Let me know, because I am not telepathic. I cannot read your minds. I knew that I wanted a spot for the meditation, and there wasn't room for it on the other lot because it just was way too small, and I had to put it on the balcony. So, when I was able to rebuild it next to this waterfall on the larger lot, I was super, super happy. I wanted to create this picturesque moment where you could go and you could take your sim and meditate or swim, and you could take pictures of it, and you could create this really nice environment for making videos or just immersing yourself into the world of your sims.